We are live. Bulls 136, Atlanta Hawks 102. This is the second time that the Bulls just end to end complete domination of the Atlanta Hawks. I think it's their third win against them. Stevie, correct me if I'm wrong.
I thought it might only be two, but
The
yeah,
power of Google will get us. But what are you feeling after this game?
really complete second half. And I think that you have to, when you're covering a bad team, like we've been covering the Bulls, and they've obviously been had a pretty rough first 25 games of the season or whatever it's been. You need to look for some positives. And the second half, it was a really complete performance on both ends. And then they also got time when they were blowing the Hawks out. They let Lowry get some good game reps in, and he was attacking a bit more. We saw some really good defense, guys knocking shots down. They got to sort of just really try and have a complete performance in the second half and let guys get in some serious reps and give like a Levine a bit of a rest after he had his 7 threes. So just a complete performance in that second half, and really positive to see them win a game. And from being in a good performance, they put in a stronger performance to close it out.
And that's what we haven't been seeing from the Bulls, right? It's that second half performance. The thing is, though, the reason why you can't read too much into this game is kind of the exact same reason why you can read even less into the second half, is because the Hawks are coming off a tough game against the Heat yesterday, overtime game, intense game, and they were tired. So this one should have been a win. It would have been a very disappointing loss, if you ask me, if it were to go that way. And the Bulls did what they needed to do. So at least they didn't give us something to be upset about, is how I view this situation. Because, like, let's just get into some of the players real quick. Zach Levine, 35 points, 12 of 16 from the floor, 7 of 7 from 3 point, 4 assists, 2 boards. Did everything he kind of needed to. He also made a lot of shots that we like to see Zach make, but also wish he made them in more meaningful moments. So, like, what you make of Zach's performance today?
Yeah, it was good. Like he's trying to get to the rim more. I like in transition when it's broken play, he'll sort of jet up the court quickly and then hesitate a little bit, and then like he's using just transition opportunities better. And I saw that on a couple of plays tonight. But just shooting in rhythm, nice high ball screens. So I'm not sure who, if it was Gafford or if it was Carter, but at least on a couple of occasions, nice high ball screens to get him open for, and then coming off the screen and knocking down a three. Like that should be a real go-to. But obviously, you want to have the angle of the screen right, have it nice and high. Like he's just shooting shots in rhythm, and we've talked about it on multiple occasions. But that's how he needs to play. Like not forcing it up, just looking for his shot, looking for transition opportunities, attacking the rim. He's 4 of 4 at the line, and I don't know if he did have 3 turnovers, but that's still better. He's had games of 5 or 6, but he just looks smooth tonight. That's probably the observation.
He was aggressive to start, and when he gets wide open looks and knocks them down, he gets more confident, which allows him to knock them down even more with the tough situation. Because he did hit a couple tough threes as well, one with Trey Young draped all over him, kind of. Um, and it's good to see Zach have these types of games. I mean, he's had them in close games too this year. So I just like some of the passing. Like when he does look to pass, he can make the passes, but that's the problem, is that he doesn't. Is he isn't looking to pass all the time. And the fact that he's looking to do anything is kind of the problem. I feel like when he goes into the play with more open-mindedness in terms of like, okay, I can drive or shoot, and that's kind of what the better players do, is they can feel it out and make decisions within the play. While Zach, it seems like he goes into a play with the intentions of either passing or shooting, and it's tough for him to move off of that a lot of the time. And I think getting better at that would make him a lot more lethal, right? And would make the Bulls a lot better as well. So it's interesting. I mean, he did have a nice pass in transition too. So you always like to see Zach on, rather see him on than off, right? So moving on to Lowry Markin 22 quiet points today. Like I feel like I noticed Lowry was aggressive. He did knock down his threes and stuff, but I didn't realize he was 8 of 9 from the floor, 4 boards, 2 assists, plus 21. And that kind of matched because the Bulls kind of had that slowness to start the second quarter, and then Lowry came back in and they opened it back up. Then they had the 40-point third quarter. So Lowry with another solid game. Is that 4 in a row with 20 points or more, Stevie?
Oh, I thought it might be three of the last four. I think there might have been one quiet game thrown in, but he's definitely had a bigger run. I'd say the month of December has probably been pretty kind to him.
Yeah.
And just showing that consistency. Also, I like his. I know tonight was a blowout, but I like his shot profile tonight where he was 8 of 9, 3 3-pointers. We do want to see him get more 3-pointers up, but I don't want to see him be 3 of 10 from 3 with only a couple of shots at the rim. You get his confidence up finishing around the rim, we're going to see a guy who, when he gets it on the perimeter, if he's not wide open, then he can attack the rim, and we saw him do that a couple of times. I think he had Bembry on him, and he attacked the rim there. That's the kind of mismatch you want to see him really go hard, get downhill, and then look to finish even through contact as well.
Yeah, Lowry 20 points in 3 of the last 5 before this, so this makes it 4 in the last 6, I guess. Which is a
Yeah.
solid little run there. I mean, you want that to be pretty consistent. I feel like Lowry does have the ability to lead the Bulls in scoring in the right system. Maybe not with Zach, but I'm just talking about the ability that he has. But let's get to a guy with showing us all of his abilities, Denzel Valentine. I mean, we talked about it on the Periscope, but not everyone who listens to the podcast watches the Periscope. So let's just get back into the Denzel Valentine, whatever you want to call it, train, I was going to say. But the floaters, what's up with the floaters? I'm completely in awe of Denzel Valentine taking it personally and putting in the work and going hard and actually playing smart, making an impact. Obviously, if he missed those floaters, it's a different thing. But I feel like he hasn't been annoying at any points since he's come back from the injury. And I'm just curious, like, where are you at with this Denzel mania?
Yeah, so I'm looking at his shot profiles now, and he was never a great shooter from floater range. I feel like his time, and I don't know anything about what he did in terms of his game in the year off that he had, but from looking at his floater and how tight that is, and just how instinctively he went to it, he must have worked on certain parts of his game while he was off, while he was injured, and just having that really strong confidence with his game where he's going to that. I mean, that's a real skill in itself, especially if he's lost a step in terms of maybe he's not as quick because of this injury. I'm not saying that is the case, but if he has, this is just another part of his game which, if he regains some of that speed, then this is there as well. But those 4 floaters showed a lot about his touch and his feel, but also his feel and some of those passes to Gafford, the one in particular tonight, really impressive touch, be it coming off a screen or coming off the screen when Gafford screened for him at the top, a picture-perfect lob pass, and Gafford, all he really needs to do is just jump and be near the rim. He's not having to cock it back or anything like that. Just some really nice touch and feel, and he just seems to be getting his legs under him now after having played some good minutes.
Yeah, 11 points, 13 points in his last 3 games, and tonight he hit. What did he have tonight? Denzel Valentine with 10 points, 4
Yeah.
steals, 5 assists, 2 blocks, filling up the stat sheet. Denzel
Yo.
Valentine, and he didn't even hit any of his threes. 0 for 3, and he's actually been hitting his threes this year. So the fact that he did that without hitting any threes is crazy. Josh, what is up? We were just talking about your boy who's shooting 45% on 3.6 attempts a game from downtown. This doesn't include tonight, so that'll bring it down slightly. But Denzel, your boy, we're back on the topic.
Well, I think we should always be on the topic because he's starting to get minutes now, man, and his like production's starting to go up, and he's looking really sharp. He had 4 steals and 2 blocks tonight. He was a plus 22. He got 22 minutes. I mean, his 3 pointer wasn't dropping. He was over three. But I like the way he found a lot of ways to impact the game, like rather than shooting threes. Like he's starting to show how good of a playmaker he is, and he's more than just chucking the occasional alley oop too. Like he finds dudes. Like he's pretty good in transition, even though he's not the fastest guy. Like he does a bit of everything. And I mean, when I wrote that Denzel Valentine article, I touched on it. Like he doesn't just shoot threes and that's it. Like he does a bit of everything. Sure, he might not be the best defender, but it was pretty good tonight.
Oh, he was really good. And 22 minutes last game and 22 minutes this game. So clearly earning more rotation minutes as he should. I mean, if you're playing this well, you should get more minutes. Another guy who's been getting a decent amount of minutes, Kobe White, 25 minutes tonight, 19 points, 7 of 13 from the floor, 4 assists, and that 4 assist number is nice. He has been making plays. His chemistry is looking a lot better with some of the players. I do like Boylan tossing in Wendell into the bench units a lot of the time, and then Gafford gets some starting unit minutes with Lowry and Zach. So I like that because I like the Kobe Wendell pick and roll. We saw that once this game really successfully. I think Kobe can run pick and rolls more often, and he's quick enough to where he has the option to snake because it's like his lateral bounce is kind of crazy. He had that one move where he was driving in, where it's on YouTube right now, but the behind the back sidestep bounce, and then when he gets his finishing around the rim against the tough contact to go more consistently, it's just why we love Kobe. And I just think it's been more. He's slowly putting those better games less further apart from each other, right? So hopefully that becomes every game at some point. But Stevie, let's go back to you. Like, what do you think about Kobe after this game? Did it show you? Did he show you anything?
Yeah, so I have seen over the last few games that he's been, and it hasn't always been successful, but he's really trying hard to get to the rim and be finishing in and just trying to finish through contact. He used his left hand on another finish today, which was a difficult finish on a difficult angle. But he's trying to get to the rim a bit more. He was 7 of 11 from inside the arc tonight, which is great. Just the one turnover. But I like he talked about how he snakes in the pick and roll. It's sort of like how Chris Paul, when he was in his prime, would sort of go to those mid-range jumpers and a little bit of hesitation. Kobe just has that speed where his first step is so great. His obviously his 3-point shot is a real threat, and his three will continue to go up and down in terms of efficiency as he gets better. But I love that he's trying to get to the rim. He's had a few and ones, and in transition, he just finishes really confidently and is great trailing the play where he can pick up a nice layup on a trail pass. I've really liked to see the growth of his game in the last couple of weeks in terms of finishing at the rim. He just seems to be growing month by month, and it's really encouraging.
Yeah. We'll see. Like that's what we were talking about last episode with the potential, breaking through. This isn't that game. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna go crazy about this win. Clearly the Hawks were tired, and it just expounded upon itself. The Hawks started carrying less. The Bulls just started getting open dunks to close out the game. They were up 30-35 at one point. So this isn't the game that's like, okay, yeah, the Bulls have broken through, but you do need to start playing well somewhere. And I just want to. We're still not mathematically out by any means. The season is young, and Stevie was just talking about in the standings. The Hornets won today against who they win, Steven? Hey, Steve?
The Brook against the Nets.
Against the Nets. So the Bulls, they won today. I mean, they're still 2 games out. If they win against
Yeah,
Charlotte, who are they
yeah,
playing on Friday? Charlotte?
And then the
yeah,
Clippers on a back to back. Yeah.
yeah.
Charlotte
So
Clippers, that's
one game
tough.
away. Yeah, yeah.
So if they
So
win that, yeah, if they win that, then they're 1 game out. But like,
yeah.
you gotta take it game by game. Josh, anything else stick out from you that you want to talk about?
Yes, and this is a team thing which I noticed, and the Bulls shot a lot with threes tonight too. I'm not sure about the season averages, but they only shot 24 threes tonight compared to they took 72s and 24 72s and 24 threes. So a big differential there. I liked how they got to the rim more, especially in that first quarter and the second quarter too. Didn't see them really chuck up too many threes. I mean, aside from Zach being 7 for 7, only person that made more than two was Lowry tonight, and he had to. So the Bulls, they weren't just chucking up threes tonight. They found other ways to score, and I mean they did it in a good fashion because they scored 136 points with only 11 made threes.
They
So I
only
mean they found
took
other ways to score. That's looking
24.
good.
They only took 24 threes.
Yeah.
Yeah, made 11 of them too. Yeah, so it's a good sign to see that they're finding other ways than just chucking up threes.
I mean, it helps when the opposing defense is the Hawks defense on a back-to-back. It's
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
lot easier to get into the lane when that happens. So like I said, like yeah, this is what you want, but doing it against a bad team with fatigue is not gonna be the tell-all tale, right? You need to come out and you need to do this in the fourth quarter of games that matter, which they haven't been doing, and that's kind of like where this leads me to. You know what you can do, and the playoffs are 0-0. That's why it doesn't matter if they unlock and like break through late. If they do end up making the playoffs, like if they play to their potential, we all thought this was an amazing team, and they all think they're great if their goals are playoffs, and they trust in themselves and all that. So just come out and do it. It's anyway. This was a positive game, so I don't want to go there. I just want to make sure that this win doesn't like overhype anyone, and that they need to be disciplined to keep this going. Right? Like
Yeah.
Stevie, anyone else you want to talk about?
Yeah. So I liked that there seems to be a bit of a rhythm where you were talking about Kobe Wendell pick and roll. I see like Thad Young with some nice little passes inside, interior passes to Gafford. I feel like we're seeing some connections and starting to see some good rhythm between some players, and guy having a little 1-2 games. And the, earlier in the season, they were sort of struggling for chemistry, especially on the offensive end. And the defense has still been pretty good around league average. If it stays there, then that's great. But if they can continue to play as a team and look to move the ball in transition, just be looking for the open man and making the right decision, then inevitably they will start to win the crunch time moments that have been losing them those games over the last week. So that's the biggest improvement is needed, is just to trust the teammates and look for the open man and not be forcing things down the stretch. Tonight, people weren't. It would be easy when you're blowing out a bad team for someone to be greedy and be like, I'm going to take it every time, but they were still trying to share it around. They need to have that mentality of team basketball, pass it to the open man or pass it to the guy that's hot. And if they do that, they'll win more games inevitably, especially against the bad teams.
Yeah, I think we're gonna keep this one short. I did want to get to Thaddeus Young, 15.7 of 16 from the floor, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, just filled up the box score plus 33. He had the Thaddeus Young game that like we want him to have every game, right? Just does a little bit of everything. Um, Again, all these great performances against easy mode here. So nothing to read into too much. And Josh, I want to get your final thoughts on this game before we close out.
Yeah, well, mate, like I'm just Kelvin says first. I'll talk about the easy mode thing because the Bulls obviously Hawks came off back to back. The Bulls have actually played 5 games in the last 7 days, so like to be fair, they've had to play a lot of games
That's a
lately. This is
good
their
point.
first
That's a good
rest
point.
in a wee while. And like secondly, with Thad Young, yeah, you're right. He did have a really good game, but I'd actually like to see him, make some laps. I counted 4 that didn't hit the rim. Maybe like looked at the rim instead of chucking it at the backboard. He'd have a few more points. But aside from that, I mean, Thad played pretty well.
The always
You guys
slight
noticed that too,
negativity
right?
towards Thaddeus and Sato always kills me from
Seto didn't
Josh.
do anything, man. I couldn't stand him tonight. Aside from that bailout three, we lost the ball, picked it up, and just chucked it up.
Oh my god,
Oh my goodness.
that's hilarious. Stevie, any last words from you?
Nah, just Hornets game's pretty big.
Mm.
Um, Yeah, I mean, they obviously if they beat the Hornets, they'll be one game out. But it's just important they just continue to stay within touching distance because there are tough games coming up against the Clippers, etc. But if they can stay within touching distance and beat the bad teams, then they're basically waiting on to see how the other teams, Pistons, Hornets, Magic, are doing. They can stay within touching distance of those teams at the back end of the East by just beating the bad teams.
100%, and we'll see what happens on Friday, I think, is when the Hornets game is. Thank you all for listening. This was a quick episode after this blowout. Go check our longer, more detailed episode with Matt Peck and Daniel Greenberg if you haven't already. That was a really fun conversation about the Bulls to date this season. Hit us up at Bullish Hoops on Twitter, Instagram, DM us, let us know how you're doing. Join our Discord if you want to. And yeah, I'm going to be out. I'm actually going on vacation starting Friday until Christmas Day. I'll be back. So I'll catch all the Christmas games. But Josh and Stevie are going to be holding it down. And yeah, check us out on Twitter at Periscope as well. Live halftime shows as much as we can. And we'll let you know when we're live and whatnot. Thank you all who listen. And we'll talk to you next time.